Well, welcome to the West Side, West Dallas, as we call it. If you go out the tent, and if you go about a quarter mile, you're gonna stumble upon Miss Jill's house, and right next to Miss Jill's house is Mr. Sam's house, and down the street from Sam's house is Emily's house, and then I'm next to Emily, and around the corner you've got Trey, who founded Mercy Street. Around that corner, you've got Miss Carrie, and around that corner, you've got Miss Annie. And then if you go maybe a mile or two down the street, you've got Pastor Jerry's house. And now, our new addition, if you go across Singleton, you get to Mr. Ramon's house. West Dallas is where we live, and we want to give you a warm, warm welcome to West Dallas. And we don't want to just have you for lunch. You want to come over for dinner? Come on over. Like, our kitchen table is open. We'd love to have you. I dare you to try to wear out your welcome. Good luck. Good luck. We're used to knocks at the door. We're used to it. We want you to feel welcome. You know, my wife and I moved to West Dallas 7 years ago. And we've been learning ever since. When we arrived, we grew up in a rather affluent, predominantly white, well-insulated town in Indiana. And so we've had a lot to learn. But ever since we've been married, God has given us a real concern for the marginalized, for those neighborhoods that are overlooked or abandoned or just avoided, for the shadows of the city. And so we thought, hey, we found out what was going on in West Dallas, and we said, dude, give me some courtside tickets. Like, I want some courtside. I want to sit courtside. I don't want to sit courtside for the Mavs. I don't find that entertaining at all. I want courtside tickets to what God is doing in West Dallas. So my wife and I, without hesitation, we're moving in. This is where we're going to live. And as I talk about our neighborhood, there's a real tendency when you talk about West Dallas to list out statistics. But I just can't do that anymore. I used to list off all the statistics that would make you be concerned about our neighborhood, but I just can't, because now, after 7 years, those statistics are my friends. They're my neighbors. Those girls that are getting pregnant at Pinkston at 15 and dropping out of high school, we used to bake cookies together around my kitchen. Those guys on the corner that are now dealing drugs and locked up, addicted, they held my baby girl like the first few days after she was born. Those are my friends. They're not statistics. Yes, my wife and I go to sleep at night heartbroken over the fatherlessness in West Dallas. It is so prevalent. Like, how can so many young people grow up without their dad tucking them in to sleep at night? It breaks my heart. Not only is dad not there, dad has abandoned them and left them to think that they're not important. These are my friends, and one after another is getting caught and tangled in the intricate web of poverty. And my wife and I are heartbroken as we watch this happen. I call poverty an intricate web because over the years, I've tried to point my finger at different people and places where I think the problem stems from. I've said, when I first got here, it was the schools. I was like, if we just had education, it unlocks opportunity, and if we had a better school district, that would improve things. That would alleviate poverty. You name it. Teachers, principals, superintendents, I was pointing fingers everywhere because my friends were getting tangled in poverty's web, and I wanted to point my finger, right? You could point the finger at politicians. You could say, those tight-wadded Republicans, man, want to cut all this programs that are helping the poor. Or you could flip it and you could say, man, those liberal Democrats that just want to enforce and support welfare dependency. I pointed my fingers at both, right? You could say, man, it's the parents. Like if these kids' daddies would just stay around, the problem would go away. If mom would just take care of her daughter, the problem would go away. And you can point, and you can point, you can say, man, if there was just something for these kids to do after school, then if we could keep them off the streets, then the problem would go away. And once you got a good problem, you can create a good solution. So you can form an entity that would then solve that problem. You can say, hey, if we just had more after-school tutoring, then the problem would go away. If we just advocated for a reform within the Dallas school district, the problem would go away. If we just brought a charter school to our neighborhood, the problem would go away. And I agree, right? I mean, poverty is a multifaceted problem that demands a multifaceted solution. There's no easy solution to poverty. My wife and I agree. We feed everybody that comes to our house. At one stage, I counted that we were feeding 80 meals a day, and it was or a week. I was like, whoa, we're feeding everybody. The whole neighborhood's found out. We've been found out, Mindy. I care about the district schools. Mercy Street cares about the district schools. We love that we have a charter school now. Yes, I'm all for after-school tutoring. I've spent so many hours tutoring kids. Now, one of our mentees, Oscar, is being homeschooled at our house. I believe in it. I believe in it. But a question rises within me. A simple question, and that is God aware of poverty? Is this surprising to him? And can God be included in on this discussion? Or is it just better to get a bunch of people with Ivy League degrees in one room together and we'll bounce ideas off each other and we'll come up with good solutions? Or I'm sure in this room we have lots of successful entrepreneurs, successful investors that have made $1 million investing money. Maybe it's just better to get our investors together to figure out how we ought to invest in this neighborhood. Because we all want to make a difference. So maybe we should just get the great thinkers, the great entrepreneurs, the great investors together, and they can help us solve the problem. Maybe we should just all collaborate. A great buzzword today. Then we can come up with a problem. And I agree, I love entrepreneurs. I love great thinkers. I love collaboration. But does God have before we go there, does God have anything to say about alleviating suffering, about human flourishing, about getting rid of poverty? I know we don't like to read the Bible. I know you don't see boards of directors sitting around going, what does it say, right, before we make decisions. But I don't know. Maybe this is still a relevant text. Maybe it still has something to say. Maybe it has something to say about poverty. I don't know. I look at Jesus, and he gets up there with his followers, and he addresses them before they leave earth, before he leaves earth to go to heaven. And he says, hey, this is what I want my people to be about. Pretty clearly, I think. He just says, this is what I want your primary aim to be about. This is how I want my people to spend their lives. He says, real simple, go into all people groups and make disciples. Yes, elsewhere in the Bible it says all over the Bible to feed people. I love Isaiah 58. Clothe the naked. Spend yourself on behalf of the needy. James 1, take care of the orphan and widow. Yes. But Jesus says your primary aim in life, people, is to make disciples. That means that the ultimate portfolio, the ultimate investment portfolio has people's pictures in it. The best investment a human being can make this side of heaven is in the life of somebody else. That's God's solution. His ultimate plan is us. And over the years, I've had a problem with this. Because I look in the mirror and I go, really? Like, God, really? You couldn't come up with a better solution than me? God, listen, I am white. And West Dallas is predominantly African-American Hispanic, Lord. But I'm white. I grew up in Indiana, Lord. Like, you're asking me to go down into the South, which 50 years ago was like the hotbed of racism, and move into West Dallas? You want to use me? You know, early on in my mentoring relationship with Bobo, my wife and I were asking Bobo, hey, like, what do you want to do tonight? And he didn't really come up with anything. And I said, well, Mindy kind of wants to go watch a chick flick. Would you be up for that? Would you go, up for going and watching a chick flick? And Bobo freaks out. He goes, Garrett, what did you just say? And I'm like, well, Mindy wants to go watch a chick flick. I know, I don't really like him either, but it's, a chick flick. And he goes, Garrett, in West Dallas, the word flick means pornography. And I said, well, no, it does not, Bobo. That is gross. Why would you say that? It's just a movie. And he said, no, not here. Don't ever say that again. And I'm going, God, I can't even get the language right. Like, I don't have rhythm. I can't speak correctly. Lord, and on a more serious note, there are kids coming into my living room every day that have problems and that have been victims of things I've never been a victim of. God, really, you want to use me? What kind of commission is this? What kind of solution is this? I'm pretty lousy solution. A few years ago, we had a 19-year-old girl move into our house. She was pregnant, and we had just had our little girl, Hattie. She was watching us and really was scared. Her parents had abandoned her, and she was left all alone. She had no idea how to raise this baby girl that she was getting ready to have, and so she wanted to watch us. And we said, okay, come on in. We gave her our spare bedroom, and I would regularly catch her reading the Bible. Regularly, she would come and ask me questions about parenting. And then it came time for her little baby girl to be born. So Mindy and I went to Parkland, showed up. It was just me and Mindy and Tasha's brother. And about 2 in the morning, the baby finally comes out, and the baby is stillborn. And my wife and I, for 5 hours in Parkland Hospital, hold little Sanaya. And she's dead. And I don't know what to do. And I'm like, Lord, really? This is your plan, me? Like, this has never happened to me. I don't know how to help Tasha. I don't know what to say to her as we hold little Sanaya for 5 hours. I just don't know, Lord. I don't know. But God says, Garrett, I have stored up my message of hope in jars of clay like you. I have put on display my glory through simple men and women, not extraordinary or educated men like it says in the book of Acts, so that everybody knows, Garrett, this is not you. Everybody knows it's not some program that you've crafted, some nonprofit. This is God's power working through a transformed life. Whatever, Lord, I trust you. I'm thankful that in the New Testament, we get to watch as mentoring happens. We're not just left with our mission and go, I don't know how to do this, but I'm moving to West Dallas and I'm just going to try to learn along the way. We get to watch as the Apostle Paul mentors different young believers in these new fledgling churches, in these small communities. And then he'll stay with them, and then he'll move on to the next church, and then he'll write a letter back to his mentees. And as you read those letters, you can really learn a lot about mentoring, about discipleship, about our mission. If you look in 1 Thessalonians, it's one of my favorite portions. It says this: "You yourselves are our witnesses. So is God, that we were pure and honest and faultless towards all you believers. And you know that we treated you as a father treats his own children. We pleaded with you, encouraged you, and urged you to live lives in a way that God would consider worthy." I'm going to be honest. When Mindy and I moved into West Dallas, our love had some real limits. It was on our terms, on our timing, right? People were ringing our doorbell constantly. It was not uncommon on a Saturday to get 20 knocks on our door when we first moved in. And Mindy would turn to me and she'd go, "Garrett, did you put the car in the garage?" I'd be like, yeah, I did. Okay, let's not answer this one. And so we would kind of sneak around the house while the doorbell was going off, right? And try, because we're just like, I'm so tired. Like, we've fed so many today, and we've opened up so many, and I just want to break. Until one of our mentees, Sheree, came by and just started ding, 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 ding. And Mindy and I are like, okay, listen, we are not up for this. Let's just go upstairs and hide. And she continues, right? 5 minutes dinging that thing. 10 minutes. And at this stage, I'm like, all right, do we just go down and answer it? And Mindy's like, no, we've already committed, man. We're already up here hiding. You can't just go now and answer it. So this girl continues to ring it. 15, 20, I swear, 25 minutes later, she gives up. I go, man, our love had limits, but here, mentoring was never intended to be that way. It was never intended to be just this shallow thing. It was intended to be as a father loves his own children. Mercy Street, love West Dallas that way. Mentors, love your mentees that way. Man, I was not there until we got a phone call from Trey the first Christmas that we lived here. And there was a family that didn't have a place to stay. And Trey was asking if we would consider taking in the daughter of this family. And I looked to Mindy and I said, gosh, I mean, we don't have any kids. I've never been a dad. I don't really know what we're doing. But, I mean, it says we ought to love this community as a father loves his children, and she needs a place to stay, and we know her, and she knows us, and we're kind of the solution. And so we let her move in, and she lived with us for 4 years and became our first daughter. And then our other two mentees, I'm telling you, this is crazy, but their parents just suddenly died. All of a sudden, like tragically, and the family's coming to us and saying, well, listen, there's not a place for them right now. While CPS sorts this out, can you take them in? We'll make it like a kin placement, is what they called it. Like, yes. So we've got 3 girls, and then Tasha moves in, 4 girls. Then the girls move out. 2 other boys move in who need a place to stay. And now Tim, Bobo, and Oscar are at the house, all for different reasons. I know this isn't normal. This isn't what mentors typically do. But for some reason, God wants to take my love deeper. He wants to take my love deeper. One other thing he says here about mentoring. This is Paul writing to his mentees. After all, what gives us hope and joy? What is our proud reward and crown? It is you. Yes, you will bring us much joy as we stand together before our Lord Jesus when he comes back again. You are our pride and joy. Here it's rather clear that Paul needs his mentees. His disciples bring him benefit. This isn't just for the mentee, it's for the mentor. Like, it's mutually transforming, which is profound, which means that, yes, Bobo needs me, I need Bobo, and Bobo needs me. Yes, Tim needs me, but I need Tim. West Dallas needs Mercy Street, but Mercy Street needs West Dallas. Highland Park needs West Dallas. West Dallas needs Highland Park. Watermark Community Church, Park Cities Presbyterian Church, they need West Dallas just as much as West Dallas needs them. We both have something to gain in this. That is how New Testament discipleship was intended to be. I recently was training some new mentors at a kind of a launch in Tyler. And this lady comes up to me and she goes, Garrett, my husband and I, we just built our dream house. It has like a wraparound porch. It's got a huge living room, and I love it. I said, so that's nice. So what? And she goes, well, I can't take my mentee there. I'm ashamed. Like, my mentee doesn't have a bed. I'm not going to take her to my new house. What should I do? I was like, I don't know. Like, that's quite a problem. Maybe you should just pray about it. Maybe God will lead you. I came back 2 years later to consult again, and she comes up to me. She goes, Gary, we sold our house. We sold our dream house. Well, what? You did what? What did I say? Right? Recently, I was having a burger at Maple and Motor with a mentor, and this mentor does investments. He's been very successful, and he sits across with his hamburger. He says, Garrett, I've done investments my whole life. I know investments, and there's not another investment like mentoring. I said, well, yeah, I agree, man. Kids are really impacted. That's not what I'm saying. He says, yes, I agree. There's empirical evidence. There's been research that's shown that mentoring impacts kids, yes. But I'm telling you, my mentee, Gilberto, has single-handedly kept my extravagant uptown lifestyle tethered to reality, tethered to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Single-handedly, this young boy has changed me forever. Mentoring is powerful. And let me tell you, that's why I love Mercy Street. That's why I love wearing this shirt. Yes, at Mercy Street, every time you come, you get fed, right, D? Every time we're eating, man. Yes, if you need help with your homework, yes. I'm trying to get my family involved in the local schools so that they can feel our presence. Right? Yes, tutoring, I believe in it. Absolutely. Yes, I vote for good politicians. Yes, I care about the whole kid. But Mercy Street continues to encourage me and say, Garrett, the primary thing that we're offering is a person. It's a person. It's a mentor. It's a coach. That's what we're offering. Yes, programs are only there to promote that relationship. That's what we're about at Mercy Street, and I love it. I love wearing this shirt. I'm so proud of the organization because there's been so many temptations to be more program-driven. But Trey continues to go, no, this is about relationship. One life impacting another life. God's great commission. And I'm telling you, kids are starting to look up to these guys. Dee, Laura, Bobo, Oscar, Tim, Raymond, Dion. There's a new generation raising up. It's 10 years, our 10-year birthday party, and there's a new generation of leaders. So I'm telling you, I want to close with this. God is doing something marvelous here, and I encourage you, get your courtside tickets. Get your courtside tickets or help me pay for mine, right? Like, come on. This is something you're not going to want to miss, because what's happening is these future leaders are now becoming the jars of clay through which this powerful message of redemption is going forward into West Dallas. And I'm just telling you, you're not going to want to miss the action. Thank you.